KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. You know, we always talk about the issues that matter to you. None bigger than how do you win an unwinnable game. Joining us now is our great friend Ben from Survivor, a Marine. He's 34. He's from Boise, Idaho, and he won Survivor. Welcome.
Kevin, how you doing, bud?
Well, here you are, your first radio interview. I don't know if that how that ranks with hanging out with Jeff Probst and being on this island, or
yeah.
what.
No, you're a good guy. It's right up there. It's all right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, how in the world did a guy from Boise, Idaho, the Treasure Valley, get on a show that everybody wants to get on, that everybody watches and says, "Oh, I could do that. That's not so tough." How did that happen, sir?
You know, my wife and I are huge fans, and every Wednesday we sit down and watch the show and kick the kids in the room for movie night. And I'm always on the couch, you know, being a couch survivor, being out, I could do that, or you know, why are they doing this? And so she's like, well, put your money where your mouth is and make a video. So I sat out on my front porch with an iPad and sent in a 3-minute video and got a call back.
Amazing. Why do you think CBS was interested in you?
You know, I still don't know. I'm just a normal guy. I told my story, and, you know, this is who I am and what I done. There was nothing special on the video, and they must have saw something, so.
You think it's the beard?
Yeah, it's probably the beard. Probably the beard.
Now, by the way, thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for everything, so.
Well, we appreciate you. So, take us through the process, because you can give us the skinny behind the scenes. So you shoot a video, you go back to work, go back to hanging with the wife and the kids, back from the porch, and then all of a sudden, what happens next?
Yeah, you know, I sent in the video and didn't hear anything. 3 months went by, and then 6 months go by, and then a year goes by, and still haven't heard nothing. And so I thought, you know, I just got put away to the wayside, you know. And then a year and 3 months later, I was at work, got a call, missed it, and there was a message saying, hey, we just got to your video, and we'd like to talk to you. So, of course, I was ecstatic and jumping around and you know, told my wife and everything. And then, yeah, I just started rolling. So went through the casting process, you know, medical test and psych test. And, yeah, it was awesome. And you finally get to call, you know, like a month or so before you get to go, and it's an unreal feeling.
I think a lot of us, I don't know if we be careful what we wish for, we got it, but when you talk about the extensive screening process, did you have to keep that a secret, or you know, because they don't want to know who the cast is? So I mean, when you're going for a physical and your psych test, do you have to keep that? How does that work?
Yeah, so you know, pretty early on, once you start the process, you sign a non-disclosure. So it's secret squirrel stuff. You know, you can't even tell work where you're going or what you're going for. And they keep it under wraps, and, you know, it keeps the authenticity of the show. And that's the best thing about Survivor is it's 100% real. It's authentic. There's no funny business at all. So they do a lot to keep the show authentic.
Right, and yeah, we'll get into that, but I love looking at your bio here. Circle track, car racing, building and shooting guns, camping with my family, pet peeves, whining.
Yeah.
3 words to describe you: hilarious, strong-willed, and motivated. It must have used all those 3 to keep that secret, because it's like you've got the golden ticket. Not like you have the golden ticket. You can't tell your friends. Your wife knows. She can't tell anybody. And, you know, you're going away. Well, hey, how was your weekend? How was your day off? It's great. What'd you do? Stayed at home on the couch.
Right. And you get down to like a final casting point where they fly you out. And so you can't tell people what you're going out for. So I think I used outdoor game show is what I used. And, you know, I have an opportunity to do this or this. And so, but yeah, you never, and you don't want to ruin your chances either, you know? So it's easy to be tight-lipped, because if there's any funny business, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of other people and castaways that would love to take your spot. So you stick to the rules pretty good.
All right, Ben from Survivor joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning. So, Ben, let's get back to you get the call, you're getting ready to leave. What was that like?
I work. My wife stays at home with the kids. I have 2 kids that are 6 and 3 now. And so being the only one with a paycheck that is all of a sudden going to go away for, 8 weeks or so and play a game, that was hard to try to keep the family, financially stable while I was gone.
And explain your absence. I mean, outdoor game show is right, but I'm sure people are going to go, well, where can I Google it?
Right, yeah. We had a lot of support from friends at work, my family. A lot of people stepped up and stepped in to make sure that they were safe. And honestly, while I was gone, I didn't have any. I knew they were going to be okay. My brother and my mom and all my friends are behind me on this, and so it was good feeling.
Okay, so I'm sure you get a nice plane ride, and you blah blah blah. So,
right.
I mean, what can you reveal as far as when you get there and between getting there and we see you on the boat filming the first episode? Or whatever?
Okay, yeah, that part is absolutely it's unreal because. You get to LA, you don't even know where you're going. You don't know what the theme of the show is. You don't know where you're going. And so.
And what's going on in your mind going, dude, what the heck did I.
Right, yeah. And yeah, it's absolutely crazy because you're seeing other castaways now that you maybe saw in final casting and stuff that you're like, okay, this is it. And nobody can talk to each other. You can't say one word to each other because they don't want any relationships building while the cameras are off, right? So, yeah, you're in the airport and you're all just sitting around, excited, and people are nervous, and then you get on the airplane and we went to Fiji and landed there, and it was beautiful, right? And you're still not talking to any of these people, and there's this thing called pregame, and that's where you get climatized to the conditions there. And so you're with 18 other people on this island living in, and not talking to each other.
Right. And Fiji, I would imagine, here at KIDO Talk Radio, very different climate than Idaho.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. I mean, Idaho is beautiful. We got 4 seasons, but, being marooned on an island in Fiji is not that bad of a gig, so. So then the game starts. What was it like seeing a person? By the way, you're obviously a huge fan of the show. So when Jeff is saying, this tribe, that tribe, then it's real. Right.
And before you get the goodies and march along, that we've seen, we haven't lived like you have. What's going on in your mind?
It's funny you bring that up because you don't know the theme of the show. You don't know what the tribes are going to be broken up in. And so, day one on the boat, Jeff is like, welcome to season 35, heroes versus healers versus hustlers. Well, I didn't want the Marine Corps thing to be brought up because it could be perceived as a threat. And I didn't want it to be, I wanted to be a husband, right? And that was it. No kids, no Marine Corps. And so he's like, welcome to season 35, heroes, healers versus hustlers. I looked around my tribe and I was like, oh, man. This is not good. And he goes, hey, you in the cowboy hat, why would you be perceived as a hero? And I was like, I'm a father and I'm a Marine. And I was like, oh, there goes my game. 30 seconds in, my game is out. I have to change my entire game plan. And, it worked out for the best.
Sure.
That's the thing about Survivor is you don't know. You can't expect anything with it. They throw so much at you. And that you have to constantly be adjusted in your game, and it's an amazing, amazing game.
Sure. What about the lack of sleep and the food? I mean, there's no big Judds in Fiji.
No, no big Judds out there. For me, I've been there before, right? So, I've served our country, went overseas. I've been tired and hot and sandy before. So it was easy for me out there because it was beautiful and nobody was shooting at us out there, right? So, I mean, people are trying to vote you off the island and stuff your torch, but it was a vacation. It was fun, and I lost a lot of weight while I was there, which was awesome. But you do go through the ringer, and you're out in the elements, and you're hunting your own food, and it's fun. It's primitive,
Right. Wait a minute. Let me just get this straight. At KIDO Talk Radio, you're saying it was fun, no indoor plumbing, not really a lot of shelter, and you're hunting your own food. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, that's you're in a safe environment, right? Nothing's going to happen, but you get to live out how caveman or island people used to do
Right.
it, and you're in this awesome game for $1 million. We ate snails, hermit crabs, stingray, lobster, fish. I tried killing a bat. I was going to eat that. Yeah, it's fun. You're living like our ancestors did way back in the day.
Sure.
And it's a kick in the butt.
Not a lot of processed foods, I would imagine.
No processed foods. No, I lost 30 pounds while I was out there. So
How a lot of folks wonder, how did you cope with just surviving on such limited calories? And did you see that impact your fellow Survivor contestants?
yeah, I went in packing a pretty good dad bod, and I was able to burn that.
And that's reassuring. Thank you for the dad bod thing. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got to support each other, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we got to support each other out here, and it worked to my advantage. You saw Cole out there, who is a rock climber, and he's just ripped as all heck. I think he's pursuing a model career now, right? So, but he also went down for lack of food. He passed out and bumped his head pretty hard. And Cole's an awesome guy. He's a good guy, but I think the extra weight kind of helped me get to day 39 for sure.
Ben, what was the biggest challenge? Because most of us that have watched Survivor have seen the emotional toll it takes on people, and people crying and saying, I miss my family, and it's so tough. Was that hard for you?
I did miss my family out there. My family is my everything, and I was out there for them. I was out there to win the money and, provide a better life for my wife and my kids. When you're out there, you're tired, you're sleeping on bamboo, which is coincidentally horrible to sleep on. You're starving, there's no food, there's no off-camera protein bars. You're like,
that would be nice.
Yeah. So you're stripped down to the raw you, and those emotions, are magnified by the fact that you're tired and hungry. And so, when people start shedding tears, it's because they're feeling broke down and beat. But, it strips a person down to their bare bones. And you learn a lot about yourself out there, too. So it was a great experience. And I think there's some good opportunities that could arise from this, too.
Our great friend Ben joining us from Survivor here at KIDO Talk Radio. Coming up next, I don't know if Ben will tell us, but we are going to ask him the question, how to win Survivor. Details and answers from Ben next on KIDO Talk Radio. KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. Ben from Boise joining us now, who is one Survivor. Is that weird for you, being known by just Ben and not Ben in your last name?
Yeah.
People, hey, Ben! Hey, Ben!
Yeah. The whole Survivor thing is, it's a trip. It's still unreal. We're trying to get back to our normal life, but this is an amazing opportunity, and we're blessed and humble that we've been able to do this. And I'm still just Ben, though.
Sure.
I'm just Ben. I will always be just Ben, no matter what.
For people that, here's another obvious question. Have people been hitting you up for loans yet?
Yeah, no, not yet. I've had some fan mail that have maybe hinted towards that,
Sure.
but
Right.
no one has flat out said, "Hey, yeah." So, which is fine because it's all locked away and we can't even touch it because we got scared. We didn't know what to do with it,
Sure.
and yeah.
Well, we'll just leave it at that. We don't need to know
Yeah.
the secrets of Ben's finances here.
I ain't got none. How about that?
when we talk a little bit about that, but total, how long were you gone from your family?
So total, I was gone for I want to say 7 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks, I believe it was, and that's a long time for me to be gone from my family and my family to not have a paycheck also. So
Right.
what's funny is the timing couldn't have been any better, for us because we sacrificed a lot for me to go. My wife mainly, being a single mom for that long, she went through a lot. So I commend her for that because that was just as hard as if not harder than what I got to go play and be on a beach. And so I commend her for that. And, all moms out there, that's amazing. But, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. I was going to ask you, when you get voted off, do you have to stay a total there, or are you allowed to come home, or does everybody stay the entire amount of time, like in a hotel or a special?
Right. Yeah. So
you wouldn't know about that, but
no. Yeah, I wouldn't know. So everybody's gone for the same amount of time.
Okay.
You can't bring. You can't start sending people back.
Non-disclosures are not right. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody is well taken care of while they're out there. Once they're voted out, it's you're on an island.
Sure.
And it's all paid for. There's massages and drinks and food and
not with you.
Not with us. No.
Right.
Once you're voted out of the game, then
sure.
you get to live an island lifestyle to where it's comforts and amenities or whatever.
Back to your point that you just said at KIDO Talk Radio about your wife, that must have been a heavy burden for you to be gone without work, single parent. I mean, as you said, rightfully so, giving credit to her for doing that. That must have been an enormous amount of pressure because you've got all these other people wanting the same thing as you, and you won.
Right. Yeah, it is a lot of pressure. And being able to get her out to Fiji was one of my main goals because she has sacrificed so much. She, quit working to stay at home with the kids. And being able to get her out to Fiji was one of my goals. And even though we got to see each other for what you saw on TV, I was so happy just to be able to give her that opportunity to come out to Fiji and see the islands. And, they took care of her while she was there, but it's a bummer we didn't get to have a barbecue together. But, we went back and found some idols. Lauren did, and it all worked out. So being able to give her that opportunity for everything she's done for me and my kids was an amazing feeling. And now I get to even give her, comfortability, which she has given me in my life, and I can never repay her for any of that. So it's a good feeling.
Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's get you to work safely and on time. And you're listening to Kevin Miller as we continue on. Ben joining us from Survivor. Okay, I have to get this question in, and I don't want to wait till the last second. How do you win Survivor?
Okay, so I'm not going to reveal all the secrets, but, to win Survivor, you have to be yourself, right? Because people are going to sniff that out real quick. You have to be able to read people and kind of assess a situation that maybe is not happening right now, but 4 or 5 days later, And so it is a social game where you build your own society. You make your own rules up because there is no rules, right? And you have to maneuver your way through all these alliances. And I've said it before, it's a game of trust in a game of distrust, right? Because you have to be able to trust people to get you to the end, but it's not a team effort. One person wins $1 million. So, it's an amazing game, and I couldn't even tell you how to do it until you're just in there, because you could play the same game with the same people over and over again, and there'd be a different winner every time.
What's the closest you came to getting voted up?
Well, I played, let's see, my first idol, there was 7 of us, and all 6 other people voted for me, and I played an idol, so that was probably the first time I was. And then the next time they were going to vote me off, I had another idol. The third time, once again, found it. I was dropping Ben bombs, right? And then seeing those on camera was kind of funny. Some of them didn't come off as well as I thought they would. But, the fire making challenge, I didn't know that was going to happen. And so going into tribal that night, I knew I was going home. I knew my game was done. I knew I did my best. I knew my wife was going to be proud. But I knew I was going home. So when Chrissy started reading her advantage or disadvantage, whichever way you look at it, like there was my second chance. There was a fighting opportunity, right? It was head-to-head fire making competition, and winner gets to go sit in the final 3. So that was an amazing. Like when my legs started shaking, I was ready to go. I was ready to build fire. So it was great.
Let's talk a little bit about getting people that either you got out or wanted you out to vote for you.
Yeah, at the end,
Now you're a politician.
Yeah. And that's the thing is about Survivors. All these people you voted out, right, if you make it to day 39, they get to turn around and vote for the winner. And so there's where, like, the social game comes into play and how you voted people off. Desi, Cole, JP, Joe, and Lauren all voted for me, and those were the first 5 that got voted out. I think the last 3, had tried so hard to get me out and just couldn't do it, and it was so fast after it happened. They voted for Ryan and Chrissy, and both those guys played amazing games too. Leaving Final Tribal Council, I was not sure if I had won. I didn't know if I had won up until, Jeff read the votes on live television. I didn't think I had won at all, so it was quite the shock because Chrissy and Ryan played amazing games also.
Ben joining us, the winner of Survivor at KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller in the morning. Okay, let's go to now seeing yourself on TV, watching the game after playing it. Are you on your way to see Dr. Phil after that? Or?
Yeah, no. Seeing, being on TV the first time, seeing it is pretty surreal, especially, in the Survivor and the way they, do Survivor. Because as a fan, you dream about seeing your face, like, swimming through the water or jumping off a ship or, in my case, falling off the ship. And to see that on day one, it was like, it's unreal. It's a dream come true. And, it's what a fun and exciting opportunity, and if you want to, you just follow your dreams. And when you get there, soak them in.
Ben joining us from Survivor, KIDO Talk Radio. So let's get to the cat's out of the bag. People in Boise, the Treasure Valley, all of a sudden know that you're rolling. You're still in the game. And then we get to the big night. Take us through that.
Yeah, so the big night, the finale night, they flew us all down there, and we're in the hotel, and we get to see all the other castaways, and it's like a big reunion. Lots of hugs and talking. I think some people maybe were still playing the game down there. Okay. Alliances being formed. Sure. and talking. There was. Let's just say that our hotel room was paired up next to someone else's, and we heard some chatter. And it was actually really entertaining. But, people are still playing the game, so good on them. But, the finale night, I didn't think I had won. And, sitting there with Chrissy and Ryan, and all 3 of us got votes first, and then Chrissy got another vote back-to-back. I thought that was it. I thought she was going to...
She was going on a roll.
She was going to go on a roll, yeah. I figured that the next one might be mine, but the next 2 were going to be hers, right? And so... the next one was me, and I was like, okay, well, the next one's going to be her. And then it wasn't. It was me, and that's when, I started getting a little tingly feeling, Sure. And then Jeff pulled out the second to last vote and is like, the winner of Survivor. And that's what you want to hear, right? That's your goal.
Not if you were Chrissy.
Well, not, yeah, no, yeah. If you're Chrissy or Ryan, yeah. Sure. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to hear that. But, it was such a great opportunity and an experience, and seeing, Jeff pull my buddies out on stage too, had no idea that was happening. That was something, my wife had set up with CBS behind my back, and they did an amazing job keeping it a secret because I haven't seen them boys for like 12 years since I was in uniform, and we had a pretty good time that night. Sure. It was a lot of fun.
Finally, on living your dream, what would you like to say?
On living your dream, first off, you need a dream. You need to, work towards stuff. You need to have goals, and then go out and do them. It's going to be hard. Like, if it's worth working for, it's going to be hard to do it. But, put yourself out there, be a good person, and take care of your family, and good things will come to you.
And finally, do you think you could take Russell and Boston Rob?
Russell and Boston Rob. Russell is a savage too. He's played twice back to back and got to the final 3.
Yeah.
And Boston Rob has played 4 times, right? He's won. I would love to play with those guys because, again, I'm just Ben, right? I'm a fan. Even though I won, like, I would be, kind of fanboying it if I even met Russell and Boston Rob, and that was the thing down there in LA is I got to meet all these, Survivor alumni that I've watched on TVs for years. And, I'm still just Ben, and to be in even like the same category as those guys is pretty crazy.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. This was fun.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day, Kevin Miller in the morning. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Ben from Survivor, just a local kid, Capitol High School grad from Idaho, doing us all proud. And what a nice young man, and certainly full of a lot of optimism, which is what we need to start the day. Our phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So, as people continue to debate and go back and forth over what Donald Trump did and didn't say, and people continue to, rip the president, we've got a couple serious issues going on. Most notably, the government could be shut down once again. And you have officials who are saying that they expect that to happen. Now, many people, like our friend Dave Petzo, think this is a good thing. But when we're talking airlines, military, and everything else, we elect people to run our government so we don't have to, right? Time is running out for Congress to avert a government shutdown amid fragile bipartisan negotiations for an immigration deal. Let's face it, immigration should be separate from the budget negotiations. DACA, schmaca, whatever. It shouldn't have anything to do with the budget. But again, like we've seen in the Idaho legislature, when we want to get something through, we put it through at the last minute where we have no choice, everybody. Try telling that to your parents or grandparents, or maybe you've heard that from your kids, or maybe you've tried that with your boss. See how receptive people in the real world are to these silly excuses. Current government funding runs out after Friday, meaning lawmakers have only 3 days to figure out how to avoid a damaging shutdown. Now, in my opinion, the Democrats, they want the shutdown to happen to say, look how bad Donald Trump and those Republicans are. There's really no incentive for the Democrats, because they have the media covering them, to have a negotiated deal, right? And, we're not going to get Social Security. We're not going to be able to fly the planes. We're not going to be able to do anything. This is not the way to run a government. It's not the way to run a business. And what breaks a lot of people's hearts, the good people in America, the people that want a better life for themselves, their children, their grandchildren, is that these are not the rules that average, ordinary Americans live by. These are not the rules that you live by or I live by. These are the rules for the elite. It's almost as if we're looking at the American equivalent of the modern-day Soviet Union, where the rules are different for those members of the elite, of the Politburo. And for the rest of us, go work another job. Now, Republican leaders said they expect to pass another short-term patch known as a CR, or continuing resolution, which would be the fourth since September. Again, I ask you at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, is this any way to run a business, a government? And we say this, there are two issues that continue to resonate the years and years that we've been together. Funding the government and gas prices going up again and again and again. Now, the Hill writes, corralling the voters for another CR will be difficult given the consternation among Republicans and Democrats to support it without conditions. Here's the deal. Do you want to keep your job? This is what you're going to do. No touchy, no feely, no free samples. Do you want to keep your job? Boom. Lawmakers from states ravaged by recent natural disasters also are pushing for federal aid that has been sidelined last month. Now, here's the deal. Democrats don't want to help the GOP leaders keep the government open without an agreement that ensures protection for the young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Well, wouldn't that be illegals? Those immigrants could soon be at risk for deportation after the Trump administration announced it would phase out the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program, which again was unconstitutional. Even President Obama, the constitutional lawyer, knew that it was unconstitutional. Well, it's inhumane. You're right. There has to be a solution that we hire smart adults to realize. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just time to eliminate Congress and we go to something that Alexander Hamilton, our great our great founding father, who is under-recognized except here at KIDO Talk Radio, would be against, which is mob rule. Maybe it's just time that we all log on to our laptops and we get rid of Congress. I don't think that we could do any worse than they do. And we could, the rotunda is beautiful, but we could turn it into a place where they do weddings, like the state capitol. Max, good morning. In Garden City, you're on with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Max.
Hey, what you're saying really rings a bell of truth here. And I'm thinking to myself, these politicians, these congressmen, these senators, all of whom are almost completely removed from society through multiple terms, okay? If you talk to these people, be they winocrats or Republicans, it seems they're party members first and they're Americans second. Now, I lived in China a long time, and you're either a party member or you're nothing. And it's becoming that way here. When you had a complete Democratic Party, they failed to vote on certain bills as a party. And the worst of all is the stupid American who goes to the polls, wherever he's allowed to do it, flips one switch, all Democrat, flips one switch, all Republican. I think the answer might be to eliminate the parties, wipe them out. Say, listen, if you are organized as a voting bloc to any certain extent, it's a RICO affair. Racketeering and criminal organization. Let people be forced to vote for the person, not for the party, because that's what got us in this mess in the first place. Last comment, term limits. 2 term limits for everybody. Mayor, president, governor, councilman, 2 terms. What say you, my friend?
The problem with that is then you give all the power to the non-electable bureaucrats.
How is that?
Because someone's got to teach the politicians how to run government.
Why? Why do you have to be taught the rules and regulations on when to put your hand up and when to put your hand down?
Well,
Mr. Trump, other than his tweetaholism, is doing very well, and nobody taught him.
Well, you asked a question, I gave you the answer.
Okay, and I appreciate it. I agree to disagree.
I appreciate your passion. I do think, though, I do agree that it's time for these folks to go. Term limits would be great. Now, I believe in Idaho there used to be term limits, but those got thrown out. I think that it only incentivizes people to go to Washington, and let's face it, once you get in, it's a pretty good gig.
It's sweet. I want to ask one last question before you kick me off here. It could be controversial. I'll word it carefully. We have Martin Luther King Day for a great man. Why don't we have Thomas Jefferson Day or Madame Curie Day?
I'll let the audience answer that one, Max.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Liberty Linda joins us now at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Yes, good morning, Kevin. Kevin, come on. A president coming off the rails? It sounds like the media is coming off the rails to me. It's truly unbelievable that they're making such a big deal out of this in the first place. And it was actually something that at this point in time, we don't believe it was ever said. Anyway, I think the media is the ones that are coming off the rails in regard to this.
Oh, it's crazy, the coverage and the language. And my favorite is when they start complaining about the impact it's having, and yet they reinforce it and take it to another level. They've truly lost their minds. I
agree with you. It seems like everywhere, you tune in, that's all they're talking about. And it's like they're talking about something that actually that they cannot confirm and that I believe was never said. And anyway, it's just unbelievable the things that they will do to try to bring down our president. So anyway, and then we can talk about Hawaii, the button. My first thought was, well, don't they have more than just one person there? Don't they have a backup? Is one person responsible for pushing that button? To me, it sounds like something is wrong there, that this one person, you know, is the one that's in charge of doing this. I mean, it's a major thing, you know. They have to alert the people immediately. However, I would think they have some type of a backup system to know for sure before they push that button.
Well, and let's face it, who does this help? It helps to, you know, discredit the government. So who's to say that, you know, someone, whoops, and to take 40 minutes to say that Hawaii was not going to get blown to smithereens?
Does it sound right?
Are they complicit or incompetent?
Incompetent, or this was just kind of made up to get our president in trouble again. Because sometimes he's responsible for all of this. And so anyway, you know, we do have quite a few of liberals there in Hawaii. I don't know if many people are aware of that, but anyway, the whole thing sounds set up and sounds like something's wrong about it. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, thank you.
And then looking forward to hearing Ammon when he comes on the show. Very much looking forward to hearing from him.
It will. It'll be something we're all looking forward to.
I know. Thank you, Kevin, for having him on.
Well, thank you for being with us, Liberty Linda.
Oh, where else would you be in the morning but on the Kevin Miller Show?
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
Well, look, right now we've launched a full investigation at the FCC. I've been working with FEMA, with elected officials, and with state emergency management officials to figure out what went wrong here. And it appears that human error in the State Emergency Management Authority in Hawaii was the primary cause of this.
FCC Commissioner Pai on what happened.
The State Emergency Management Authority is in charge of putting those alerts into FEMA's system, which then distributes it to the wireless carriers that served Hawaii. And so part of the issue that we're looking at is, are there any steps that we need to take, federal, state officials working together to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again?
There we have it. Again, a lot of people were very scared, rightfully so. So we have that going on. Also, the showdown with the government, another shutdown looming. Your thoughts at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Many of you say, look, just shut down the government. It would be a good thing. Well, what about the military? What about people that are on Social Security? What about the people that are on Medicare and Medicaid and everything else? Well, let them fend for themselves. They didn't do anything wrong. You know, when you hire someone to do a job and they don't do it, sooner or later, it's time to go, right? Because if it's not time to go, then it's on you for keeping them around, right? So shame on us. Well, we get rid of one. Well, we get someone who's worse. I don't think it'll ever happen in our lifetime. But then again, who would have ever thought what happened in 94 or the election of Donald Trump would have happened? And that is term limits. I go back to what Max said. I agree. I think that the term limits would definitely help in getting rid of at least it would put the fear into some of these folks, maybe. And who wants to rule by fear? But the carrot's not working, right? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get you to work. Joe in Meridian, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hi, Kevin. How are you this morning?
Living the dream, and you?
Same deal, man. God keeps blessing me every day. Hey, just thinking about this quote-unquote government shutdown and the challenges we have with the federal houses and, you know, other portions of the government really following through on the things we sent them out there to do. My thought is the only way, whether it be Social Security or significant health care reform, although we've had some, but I mean, getting rid of some of that, happen some of the medical malpractice issues that we have in the state and the country that drive up health care costs. Some of those big issues is the states are going to have to rise up and basically tell the government, hey, here's what we are willing to pay for and here's what we're not. And other than that, I just don't see it changing because you change one senator or one representative out, and they go back, but that doesn't really change the way that the government runs.
Great point, Joe. Thank you.